Hello, I'm Lara Kocharsan, and this is Newsfeed, your dose of what people are talking about online. Kenya's President William Ruto has dissolved his cabinet and fired the Attorney General after deadly protests led to the scrapping of a controversial tax bill. But Kenyans are still not satisfied. They accuse Ruto of mismanaging the country's finances and want him to step down. Ruto's government had initially proposed raising taxes on items such as bread, vegetable oil, and sugar in order to raise money to repay a loan to the International Monetary Fund. Kenya is highly indebted to the IMF, and protesters are objecting to what they deem exorbitant repayments. Ordinary citizens who are already facing tough economic challenges felt this would cripple their finances. Now, a major aid agency has called on the IMF to reconsider conditions and repayments on loans.
It is unfortunate that the IMF has learned nothing from its past failed policy advice to governments in Africa, dating back to the structural adjustments programs in the 80s. Raising taxes to service debt instead of addressing bread and butter issues is a recipe for disaster, and one whipped too many on the back of Kenyans, who continue to tighten their belts and bear the burden of the government's austerity measures. This latest fallout should serve as a pivotal moment for the IMF's dealings with Global South countries.
Rating agency Moody's downgraded Kenya recently, citing political instability. And with Ruto facing his worst political crisis in 2 years, he is reluctant to borrow more money from the IMF.
IMF actually wanted us to borrow slightly more. I told them no. I told them no, we're not borrowing. And that is why, if you look at the fiscal deficit, the money we are borrowing, we have reduced it from 1.1 trillion last year to 630 billion this year. We have reduced almost 500 billion because I am conscious that we are not in a good place. I am also aware what is happening to other countries. There are countries in our continent that have defaulted in their payments.
Netizens have also been weighing in on this matter. Most of them feel it's a burden their economy might not be able to bear.
This finance bill is highly governed by the International Monetary Fund, IMF. Because what happens when you do a lot of borrowing from outside countries is they have to control you in one way or another. And one of the ways they control is by trying to help, right? Help us in making more money. How do they do that? They tax us a lot. Because the more they tax us, the more they make money. The more they make money, the government is able to pay them. So they have to influence our bills and our laws so that they can make sure that we are able to pay.
Staying in East Africa, a young Ugandan man has been sentenced to 6 years in prison for his TikTok posts about the president and his family. 24-year-old Edward Awebwa pleaded guilty to charges of hate speech and spreading misleading and malicious information against President Yoweri Museveni, the First Lady Janet Museveni, and their son Muhoozi Kainerugaba, who is the head of the military. Awebwa ran a TikTok account called Save Media Uganda. Authorities say his videos insulted the president and his family and also claimed that taxes would increase under President Museveni. This case is part of a larger crackdown by security agencies on people using social media to insult top government officials. Awebwa isn't the only one affected. He is among several other content creators jailed under the Computer Misuse Act of 2022. Human rights activists are fighting this law in the Constitutional Court, calling it repressive.
The accused is pleading for mercy, but he does not look remorseful at all for his act. The language that was being used was very vulgar. This court is of the opinion of a punishment that will enable him to learn from his acts, and next time he will respect the person of the president and the first lady and the first son.
Now on to some big news from the celebrity world. Alec Baldwin's trial began in New Mexico on Wednesday, with the prosecution and defense painting starkly different pictures about the events that led to the death of cinematographer Halyna Hutchins. If convicted, Baldwin could face up to 18 months in prison.
In October of 2021, while Alec Baldwin was shooting his newest movie, Rust, he discharged a live bullet, killing the cinematographer of the film. The gun that Alec Baldwin was using was supposed to be filled with blanks. The main question for the jury to decide in this trial is going to be whether or not his role in the death of the cinematographer amounts to involuntary manslaughter. A simple definition of involuntary manslaughter is the accidental killing of a human being through a negligent or reckless act.
The prosecution claims Baldwin violated basic gun safety rules by playing make-believe with a real gun, having his finger on or near the trigger. They also fault Baldwin for not doing a safety check with the inexperienced armorer, Hannah Gutierrez-Reed, who was convicted of bringing live ammunition onto the set earlier this year. The defense argues Baldwin was simply acting and committed no crime. They say the bullet should never have been on the set and that he didn't intentionally pull the trigger. And even if he did, they argue he didn't know the gun was loaded. Hutchins' death was the first on-set shooting fatality in Hollywood in 3 decades, leading to an unprecedented trial in U.S. history, holding an actor criminally responsible for a gun death during filming. The trial continues until July 19.
And if you're asking me what I think the verdict will be, I think based on the testimony I've seen so far, he's got a pretty strong case. I would say that it's likely that he's going to be acquitted based on the fact that he formed his belief that the weapon was safe based on things that more experienced people told him. And so I think there's substantial doubt that he did something either negligent or inappropriate, which led to this. So I think based on what I've seen so far, and you can never know until you've reached summation and the judge is summing up, but to me it seems like the case is going very much in his favor.
Meanwhile, another high-profile trial is making headlines in Europe. France's former First Lady Carla Bruni Sarkozy has been charged over a 2007 election funding scandal involving cash from Libyan dictator Muammar Gaddafi. She faces charges of hiding evidence and associating with wrongdoers to commit fraud. The former supermodel and singer is also suspected of witness tampering and attempting to bribe Lebanese judicial personnel. Nicolas Sarkozy, president of France from 2007 to 2012, will go on trial next year for allegedly taking money from Gaddafi to finance his election campaign. He is accused of corruption, illegal campaign financing, benefiting from embezzled public funds, and membership in a criminal conspiracy. Sarkozy denies all charges. Another punchline from iconic TV show The Simpsons has become a reality. This time, it's the plot of a 1996 episode depicting US hip-hop group Cypress Hill mistakenly booking a gig with the London Symphony Orchestra.
Hello, bands. Who is playing with the London Symphony Orchestra? Come on, people. Somebody order the London Symphony Orchestra. Cypress Hill, I'm looking in your direction.
Hey, man, did we order an orchestra? What's up with this orchestra, man? Where'd the orchestra come from?
I don't know, man.
They didn't tell me about this, man. We gotta do something. Oh, yeah, we think we did. Do you know Insane in the Brain?
We mostly know classical, but we could give it a shot.
28 years after that episode first aired, here's the unlikely fictional collaboration in real life at London's Royal Albert Hall on Wednesday night. After years of fan pressure, Cypress Hill had tweeted, it was called tweeted back then in 2017, the orchestra on Twitter, which responded with an emphatic yes to perform together. And while the symphony may be more used to Brahms and Tchaikovsky, its performance with the rap trio this week didn't disappoint fans. In fact, TikTok is rife with comments that they killed it with the medley of songs from Cypress Hill's acclaimed Black Sunday album. Not surprising, considering that they were rehearsing months in advance. Take a look.
Band to rehearsal, please. The London Symphony Orchestra is tuned and ready. Cypress Hill, the LSO is ready for you.
Huh? The LSO? Did we actually order the London Symphony Orchestra?
Maybe we did. We better get to rehearsal then.
And to build up hype upon hype, Cypress Hill posted this fun clip up on its socials, paying homage to how the collab actually came about. The Simpsons has developed a reputation of predicting future events. It foresaw Donald Trump becoming president, the emergence of video calling, the winner of the Nobel Prize for Economics, and the tiger attack on magicians Siegfried and Roy. But Cypress Hill's performance with the London Symphony Orchestra is far from a coincidence. In this case, The Simpsons episode was the impetus that brought the two groups together for an epic and unexpected collaboration. Here are some highlights from the one-time-only show. And that's our show. Find our latest stuff on YouTube and do subscribe to our channel. See you soon.